This is Weights and Wealth, your one-stop shop for entertaining education on building a stronger body and bank account.
We are not doctors or financial advisors and must warn you this is not medical or investing advice. It is for your entertainment. Welcome back to another episode of Weights and Wealth. This is the episode we're doing right after we just recorded our interview with Ricky, and that was an excellent time. We had a blast doing that one.
So that'll be coming out in about a week and a half. Just the way we record these, we do them in giant chunks.
Mm-hmm. So please definitely listen to that one, and we'll probably have him back on again at some point.
Yeah, just let us know the episodes that you enjoy and the interviews that you enjoy so that we can bring you more of the content that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Our shout out for this episode goes to Henry from Clarksville, Tennessee. He got some of his friends to listen after putting the link to Weights and Wealth YouTube in his group chat. And out of that, we got 3 new subscribers on YouTube. Wow. So thank you, Henry. Good work spreading the podcast. Our weights wisdom of the week is if you're struggling to bulk, add a glass of whole milk to each of your meals. You can get like an extra, depending on the size of the glass, 120 to 200 calories. And it's healthy protein and fat, and just adding a glass of milk doesn't fill you up. So if you are struggling to bulk, especially our teenage guys that tend to be hard gainers.
How about taking a shot of olive oil? Do you recommend that?
No. Milk is much easier.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're struggling to bulk, adding a glass of milk to each meal is a really easy way to increase your calories and your protein. Our intro article for this week is an article that talks about Monsanto's attacks on scientists and journalists. So going back to middle school, when I did my first report on GMOs, I found some different articles that talked about how farmers that had been using organic seeds and were not using GMO seeds were getting sued by Monsanto for having some of their crops be basically cross-pollinated from neighboring farmers' fields. And because of that, since the seeds are patented by Monsanto, they were able to sue the farmers for stealing their property.
Really? Even though it happened like just naturally through nature? Wow.
Yeah. So that's like one way that a huge company like Monsanto can use scare tactics to intimidate smaller farmers.
Yeah. So in the previous episode, our take on the economy, we talked a lot about patents and what do you call it? Not intangible assets, but intellectual property.
Yes. Yeah. And like one of the things about having intellectual property overlap with the food system is it becomes like a power thing. And to make more money, these big food companies want to have patents on food. That's like the whole thing with the Beyond Meat. If they control the patent for the Beyond Meat, then they can make a lot more money off of it because there's not a lot of money in like raising cattle, it's expensive and there's not huge profit margins. But if you have a patent on something, now you're talking about making a lot of money. So that applies to the plant-based meats and to GMOs. Yeah,
we talked a lot about the monopolistic pricing model, how that's a lot different than normal supply and demand.
Yeah, so one way you can try to go against that model is by voting with your dollars and buying organic groceries and supporting grass-fed beef or other meat. So this article compared Monsanto's playbook to that of big tobacco and big oil before them. And it basically showed that there's 4 tactics they use. The first one is manipulating the science over decades. And then the second one is co-opting academics and universities to support their science. And the third is deploying an army of front groups and third-party allies to support them and change public perception. And then the last one is tracking and attacking scientists, journalists, and influencers. And one of the things I noticed about these 4 tactics is that they also occurred with big pharma during COVID as well. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to trust some of these super large institutions that use this kind of playbook because it seems like there's nefarious intent, right?
Yeah. Do you mean on tactic 3, deploying an army of front groups? That's not a literal army, right? Because I was thinking like big oil, Iraq, that direction.
No.
Which I don't know much about that theory, but supposedly that's why a lot of people think we went over there.
The classic meme of blah, blah, discovers oil, U.S. military.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what have you got for us? I see you got something about Joey Swoll on here.
For our talk, we have the Joey Swoll TikToks, and I think it fits really well with this one because we're doing our take on the fitness industry, and that's what he shares a lot. So, I mean, have you seen any of his videos or no?
I've seen like 1 or 2. I don't really know who he is. I've never seen his videos before these recent couple that I saw.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's a bodybuilder. If he's not, then he definitely trains that way. He's huge. But he makes these videos kind of duetting other people's and usually it's somebody misbehaving in the gym. Like there was that whole trend with girls recording themselves and the distance, there's a guy like looking over towards them, and then they like come at him like, "What do you want, you perv?" Like that kind of stuff. And so he called them out. I mean, there definitely are situations where that's real, but this was the ones that he calls out are more for they're going for clout. And
I saw one. It's an extreme example, but there's literally a blind guy doing tricep pushdowns. Have you seen this one?
I think one of them it was real.
Yeah. He's blind. He's doing tricep pushdowns. And so he's like, his eyes look like he's like looking ahead. And this girl got pissed at him for staring at her in the gym. And he's like, "I'm blind. I'm not looking at you."
Yep. Yeah. So it's stuff like that. And then with guys recording themselves and getting pissed if somebody walks in the way, or recording yourself in the locker room and somebody asks you to stop and them getting pissed off about it. Like, a locker room's a private place.
Okay, the locker room one is ridiculous. It's actually illegal.
Yeah, as it
happens
should be.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what he does, and I think he's a big positive influence on the fitness world.
Yeah, I mean, just from the videos you've described, like those are some of the negatives that we'll get into here with people misbehaving in the gym. There's like a huge lack of gym etiquette with the rise of the influencer kind of generation, I guess.
Yeah, and I think this will kind of lead us into like the first topic about the body positivity trend, because another thing that Joey Swoll does is he'll take people who are making fun of people that are overweight or not doing an exercise right because they just started going to the gym, and he really rips those people a new one.
Yeah. So the thing about that is gyms are like extremely supportive places. If you go into a gym and you're trying to improve yourself, 99% of the people there are going to be supporting you in doing that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's this perception of people that don't go to the gym that everyone there is just like super self-absorbed and they only care about like how they look, but people are just trying to improve themselves in the gym, and if they see a beginner, like they usually want to help that person.
Right, yeah. And we go to Big Work Factory Fitness in Charleston. Ted goes when he's there, and as my property manager said it's a bunch of shirtless dudes grunting, but they're like the nicest people. And I personally love getting a question from somebody who just started lifting, and I kind of wish I got more of them. Like it's fun to teach people, as you know, from personal training.
Yeah. What's the next topic you've got for us after body positivity?
Should we talk about body positivity more?
Sure.
Okay. Because I think I think it has some pluses and minuses. I think it's gone way too far recently, where somebody that's super overweight it's almost like something to aspire to. I think you should feel comfortable in your own skin, but at the same time, you can recognize that you should make a change in your life.
Yeah. So the whole thing with that, where people claim to like love themselves and they're body positive when they're extremely overweight. A good analogy to this would be if you have kids and all you do is feed them sugar, that's obviously not good for them. Do you really love your kids if the only thing you ever feed them is sugar? Like, it seems like maybe not, because you're not taking care of them. Same thing with your body. Do you really love your body if you're hurting it by being super overweight? We know that long term that's going to have very negative health consequences. So I feel like this has been kind of sabotaged as an excuse for some people to not take personal responsibility for how they're treating themselves. And I think that's dangerous. I think that's can be a very negative trend. It's like it started off really good. Like, yeah, you should feel comfortable in your body. But then people take it too far. So,
Yeah. And I mean, and it can go the other way too with, for a while it's tilted the other way, but for a while, all the supermodels, super skinny, anorexic, bulimic, all those types of issues too. Like, you should feel comfortable as you are, but recognize that you should make a change.
Yeah. So it's just like the pendulum was one way with all the magazines showing like anorexic models, and then it swung the other way to anything is good as long as you claim to love yourself. But again, like at a certain point, it seems like you probably don't if you're hurting yourself.
Right. And yeah, this is semi-related, but like I think the biggest reason why diets fail is because people do it for aesthetic reasons. If you're doing it for your health and how you feel, then I think they're much more likely to succeed.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that we always talk about transitioning towards a whole foods diet, because then you're going to notice health changes outside of just how you look. So chase health and let aesthetics follow. Sal DiStefano from Mind Pump, that's like one of his taglines, like chase health and the aesthetics will follow. If you just chase aesthetics, you can run into an issue where your health declines.
Right. And I mean, they're highly correlated. But
it's like strength and size.
Yeah.
Correlated, but they're different.
Right. Yeah. You can be real big and real unhealthy. But yeah. All right. Next topic, Ted. Is this one yours?
What is it? Oh, is CrossFit dying? Is that? So I'm not sure if CrossFit is dying, but is definitely not taking up the market share I feel that it was a few years ago. I think CrossFit was really, really great for the fitness industry. I think it ushered in a new era of people, especially women, squatting and deadlifting and feeling comfortable doing that in the gym, which is great because squats and deadlifts are some of the best movements you can do. You can regress them depending on what your limitations are, but just those movement patterns, everyone should be training in some form or fashion. So I think CrossFit did a great job at popularizing some of these lifts and lifting heavy and chasing performance instead of aesthetics for a lot of people. So I think CrossFit contributed a lot to the fitness industry. Are we sad to see it go on its way out? I don't know.
There'll be a lot less injuries, I think. But I did enjoy, so you've said to me many times that the box you go to really matters because it can be done well.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have a good coach that's actually putting in like decent programming, and especially if like they're teaching people how to do the Olympic lifts, that's going to be drastically different from a box where everyone's just expected to give 100% every single day. And you've got these newbies coming in that have never seen a barbell and they're in there throwing weight on the bar for cleans and everything like that. You should know how to do the lift properly first. And Olympic lifts take a long time to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the CrossFit Games few years ago, and they were really cool. Like that guy Matt Frazier is a beast. He deadlifts like 600 pounds and then runs a sub 5-minute mile. Yeah. And then that's one. Yeah. At least my opinion is probably not optimal for health, but that's like something like a marathon that's really cool to accomplish.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay, now we're moving on to the good stuff, bodybuilding and powerlifting. So they've both exploded in popularity past few years. I remember going on like bodybuilding.com, and that was really the only website I could find stuff on lifting, and that
and T-Nation.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
old days, all the kids that are growing up with TikTok and Instagram to learn how to do stuff. Back in the day, 10 years ago, it was like T-Nation and Muscle for Life. Mike Matthews, I'm wearing the Legion shirt, but Mike Matthews' website had a lot of really good information on it, but it was like you had to really comb the internet to try to find good, solid information.
Yeah, you did. But they've been both exploding, and it's cool because it's bringing more money to the sport, which I like a lot. And it encourages strength training, resistance training. There's still not a ton. I mean, bodybuilders, they can live off their winnings, I think.
If
like
they
the
win.
top bodybuilders.
Like if they win.
If they win. Powerlifting, if you win, you might pay for your flight and hotel to the meet. So there's still not much money in powerlifting, but they do a bunch of like endorsements and have their own merchandise lines and supplement brands and that kind of stuff.
I feel like there is value though in it not being a money thing, because that means like the people that are doing it because they love it.
Yeah, kind of like college sports to an extent. Which that's kind of cool. Which, I mean, if it went a lot bigger and you had and it was like on TV and all that, you would definitely get some people just doing it for the money. But yeah, like the group that does it now is really good.
I also think that with bodybuilding, if you look at how the physiques have gotten just like ginormous in like the open class, compared to like how the classic looks now, because classic, those guys weren't as big before. They were more about like the ratio and the symmetry. But now like C-Bum is like basically the same dimensions as Arnold was. So it's kind of like classic is like the new open if you go back like 40 or 50 years.
I didn't know C-Bum didn't compete in open. I didn't know he was classic.
Yeah, it's classic.
Okay, because I've seen comparisons of him to Arnold, and like they're similar.
They're very, very similar dimensions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, he's huge, but then you got guys like, I know Kai Green. Do you know him?
That's open.
Yeah. He
Any
is
of those guys. Yeah.
Massive. Are there drug tested bodybuilding?
Okay. They're drug testing bodybuilding exists, but to me, it's like, why would you want to do that?
Okay.
It's like
True.
no one would tune into drug-free Olympics. Like,
yeah. I do like it for powerlifting though.
Yeah.
Saying, hitting your natural maximum.
Yeah. But like in terms for like outsiders looking in for entertainment, people generally want to just see the biggest, fastest, strongest people. If you look at any like professional sports, it's like there's other things usually going on.
Like the Bonds McGuire, Sammy Sosa era of baseball, people like just hitting dingers left and right.
People just want to see home runs.
Yeah.
They didn't care that the guys were on steroids. They just wanted to see home runs.
Yeah. And now they got pitch clocks. So I just started watching a little bit again. I'm doing a fantasy baseball league with my work. So
fantasy football has got hooks in Nick.
It does. I'm just craving it.
We need football season to come back.
We do. All right. Next, we got our fitness influencers.
Oh, yes, of course. The misinformation capital of the internet.
Did you want to start us off, or you got anybody?
I'm not going to call out like any certain influencers, but what I will say is a lot of influencers out there are photoshopping their pictures. This has been an issue for a while, but there's an account, I don't have my phone. Maybe Katie could look it up on Nick's phone. I think his name is like Goob U2, Goob, Goob. If you search Goob, you should find him. He's absolutely blown up. But what he does is he like takes people's pictures, because all the followers will like send him stuff, and he'll take pictures and break them down like, oh, it's photoshopped because this wall here is curved and stuff like that.
Oh,
so he
yes, I have
exposes
seen
influence.
those.
He calls himself your influencer's least favorite influencer. But I started following him maybe when he was at like 40,000 followers, I think like a couple months ago, and he's blown up recently. Like I've seen, every time I go to his profile to look at things, he's got like another 10 or 20,000.
Yeah, his name's John Dorsey, and he's at 122,000.
Yeah. And then he also exposes like domestic violence or like sexual predators within the fitness industry, because he went to law school. So he'll go through like people's records and be like, hey, warning, this person. So he's like a good influencer in the space, and he exposes bad influencers. But I would say if you're following an influencer, there's a high chance that they're either using steroids and not telling you, or that they're photoshopping their pictures. And I think it used to like only be thought of as harmful for like teenage girls, because they think they have to look a certain way, but the people they're looking at are photoshopped. Their waists are snatched in, and their like glutes are puffed out. So like it's giving these body dimensions that aren't really attainable, because the people that they're looking at don't even look like that. Right. Yeah. But I think on the other side of the coin, it's also harmful for guys to be seeing all these guys on Instagram not knowing that they're enhanced and thinking that they can look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I mean, it's also, they have perfect lighting and a pump as well. Yeah. Like I saw this one reel where a guy, he transformed himself in 2 hours, like the before and after picture within 2 hours. Like he got a pump, perfect lighting, did something with like water or salt or something like that. Yeah. And it was like a 10-week before and after picture, pretty much.
Well, and a lot of before and after pictures that you see are that
taken the same day.
Actually, or they'll take the after before they take the before. So they take the after. This is like classic at bodybuilding shows. They'll ask athletes if they can do like a before and after, and they take the after before, and then they say, oh, okay, now go gain weight in your off season, and then they take the before picture. Interesting. Yeah. And this is also where I think some body positivity comes in. Like I've seen some women, like they'll just like sit normal, like, and like they're in great shape, but like, you know, like you sit down, like my stomach, like I'm pretty lean right now, it still like rolls up a little bit. That's how your skin rests.
Yeah. So, and it's not really hard to do this Photoshop either. I remember peering over my ex-girlfriend's shoulder as she's about to post an Instagram, and she's whitening her teeth. So you can do it with like iPhone apps. Oh yeah, there's tons of apps out there for whitening the teeth, getting rid of blemishes on the skin, and even also like snatching the waist in or blowing out like the shoulders or the glutes. So most of what you see online is fake. So I would just follow people that you trust, and that's usually going to be smaller accounts and people that actually coach people. And not always. There are some accounts that are bigger that are people that aren't manipulating their photos, but yeah. And it's also like if they truly are that lean year round, it's not healthy either. Like you shouldn't be carrying 5% body fat for that long. Yeah. Especially for women. Like men can get away with being leaner longer, but for women's hormones, I mean, like for women, their cycle is a good indication of where their health is at with their hormones. Yeah, we don't get into women's hormones too much. I don't know anything about them. You probably know something, but it'd be cool if we did an episode one time. I don't go into it too much on Tez Lift Help or on here because I don't want to come across as mansplaining. Oh, I gotcha. So we're waiting to get a female coach on the podcast to kind of go into that topic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just seeing these notes for the first time. Okay, and then we talk about our group fitness classes a lot, but we got Orange Theory, F45, CrossFit, and then my dad does something called F3, which their Fs it's very similar. They have 3 Fs, and it's fitness, fortitude, something else, but it's like pretty similar.
Ours are better though.
They are better. Plus, we have 5 of them,
and we came up with them first before we knew about F3. So
we did, yeah. But like stuff for this is it's a great community, but as we've said before, not ideal for health or muscle growth.
Yeah, I think the biggest value in group fitness classes is the community aspect, and then also the consistency. If you have like a certain time that you're supposed to go to a class, you can help some people be more consistent than having to force themselves to go on their own time, like not in a scheduled time.
Yeah, yeah. And I do actually have their 3 Fs written down here. It's fitness, fellowship, and faith.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And then the last thing we kind of talked about earlier is filming in gyms.
Yeah. So the biggest thing with filming in gyms, because I've done quite a bit of filming in gyms for like Ted's Left Help or filming clients to show them their form and stuff. The biggest thing with filming in the gym is that recognize that you are the least important person in the gym, right? Like you should be respectful of other people, and your filming should never get in the way of another person's workout. Have you ever seen the videos where there's like a whole lighting setup for someone?
Yes.
It's like, all right, if you're going to do this, you should either rent out a space or like, this is what I did for my app. I went, because my gym was 24 hours, Gods of Iron. I went like overnight. So I went at 11 o'clock at night and recorded till like 4 a.m. and recorded all the exercises for my app overnight when there was not going to be anyone else in the gym, because then I wasn't going to be in people's way. So
because everybody's paying for it. Like they have the right to that space as much as you do.
And a lot of people don't want to be caught on camera because they don't know where that's going. Like a lot of people don't want to wind up on Instagram getting like made fun of or just being in the background in general. So if you are filming in a crowded gym, there's going to be a lot of people in the background. So, but I think you can also tell like intent with filming. Like you can tell if someone's just recording their set to see what their set looks like, or if they're like going for a PR, or you can tell if they're just like recording their entire workout and doing some sort of like vlog thing. Like, you see those guys in the gym too. They just like record their entire workout, and it's like, all right, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean, people record a decent amount of big work, but like I think it's kind of cool to see that. Like they always restory people's videos, and like it's kind of cool to see where people are.
Yeah, I mean that's one place where I think like gym culture can make a big difference. You know, and a lot of your smaller gyms where people kind of know each other, and the like gym owners involved in like resharing people on social media. It's an atmosphere where like, okay, we know that anyone that's recording in here is just like recording for their personal, like to see their form or for a PR or just like to post something on Instagram. It's not like people are, I don't know.
Like the clout chasers we were talking about that
the
Joey
clout
Swoll
chaser
calls out. Yeah. Well, I think that's everything. Do you have anything else?
I guess something we didn't touch would be like supplements, but we've gone into supplements before more in depth in a couple episodes. And just one thing that we've said before that we'll keep repeating is make sure that the supplement company you're going through has third-party testing so that you know what you're actually getting. This will generally make the supplements a little bit more expensive, but you shouldn't just be going for the cheapest product. Right. And usually it's only a few dollars difference. Like if you're trying to skim that $5 and you're going to be getting something that you don't really even know what's in it instead of something that's third party tested, I would say that's not a valuable skimming of $5.
Yeah. Nor should you be buying it from your favorite influencer just because they're them.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of shoddy products out there.
That's like the oldest game in the book for the fitness industry is like get famous and then start a supplement company or just start pushing supplements. That's why like we're not like partnered with a supplement company. It's like Well,
Mr.
as
Legion
I'm wearing
shirt
a Legion
over
shirt,
here.
but, because supplements are all the same pretty much. Everyone's selling the same protein powder. Everyone's literally selling the same exact creatine monohydrate. So wherever you're getting it from doesn't really matter as long as you know what it actually is. So find a brand that you trust that does third-party testing, and yeah.
Yeah. What supplements are you taking now?
I take creatine. That's really it.
Yeah, same here. Like I don't take any protein.
Yeah, I eat
powder.
enough meat and eggs where I get all my protein through that. And then in the winter, I'll take vitamin D. But
I've been taking magnesium recently before bed.
magnesium threonate.
I believe so.
Yeah. But if you have any questions about supplements or you're wondering about a specific brand, send that our way, and we can give you our thoughts on it. But if you're looking for more information on supplements, you can go to episode 22 and 23 for micronutrients, and one of our first episodes, if you want to go back into the vault, I think it might be like episode 3 or 5. I'll link it here. Is about supplements, different pre-workout, creatine, whey, all that stuff. So
this was an early on episode. This was as we
gotten
were going
better.
up the learning curve, very at the bottom.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks for joining us today at Weights and Wealth, and don't forget to apply today's lessons to live healthy and wealthy.
If this conversation will contribute to your fitness and financial gains, please share it with a friend or family member and give a 5-star review so more people can lift bigger weights and get bigger bank accounts.